So my name is Kieran. I'm one of the co-founders of Food Venture Program, and we've been around for a little over 3 years. We started right before the pandemic in the end of 2019. And what we do is we teach food entrepreneurs how to start and grow their food or beverage based businesses. So we are very consumer packaged goods focused, but we also have food service programs as well. So people that are doing like a catering, food truck, or restaurant-based business, we also help with that as well. So we are a programs-based business, and I'm just going to put our link in the chat if you're new and you haven't heard of us before. We do have on-demand courses that we just started, and you can buy them for $35 to $50. They're quite affordable. And if you're looking to join one of our cohort-based programs, we only offer our programs through small business centers across North America, so Canada or the US. And if you're looking to take one of our programs, you can get in touch with us, and I'll just put our email in the chat here, and we can try to connect you with your local business center to see if they might be running one of our programs. I'm seeing some of you putting your info in the chat here. That's cool. We have some Susan from Kitchener. I think your text got cut off, but I'm assuming you're a caterer. I'm going to assume. We have Angela doing in-home baking sweets and savory dishes. That's awesome. Wowin is a reseller food candidate. Interesting. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for participating. We love to know who's in the room. So you'll see Claire here. She is one of our members of Food Venture Program and a social media expert. She's always keeping up with the latest social media everything. And so she's also a consultant, so she can help you one-on-one with your social media presence. And aside from her role with us at Food Venture Program, she also has her own business. So I mentioned she does consulting as well through her own consulting business. So she'll talk a little bit more about that. And if you're interested after this in getting in touch with her, she'll leave her email in the chat as well. But I will stop there. If you have any questions, I'm here throughout the session, so you can post them in the chat, and I'll try to keep up with that. But Claire, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Sounds good. Hello. I'm going to share my screen so that we can pull up my little slides. And it's being glitchy. There we go. Okay, now we're going to present. I love technology. Okay. All right. So this is going to be an hour class on writing content that sells. I'm just going to go over some digestible tips and tricks for writing and creating content that converts. So first, as mentioned, my name's Claire. I am the founder and CEO of Ccox Social. I started Ccox Social 3 years ago after spending many years kind of searching for what I wanted my career to be. I was a professional dancer for most of my life, but then got injured and had to kind of come up with a new plan. I spent 5 years after college working in restaurants and traveling and teaching yoga, and fell in love with the food and beverage industry as well as traveling. So in 2020, I lost my job in a restaurant because of the pandemic and suddenly had a lot of time, as we all did. So I started doing social media for nonprofits as well as some yoga studios, and took as many classes as I could, and launched Ccox Social in 2020. It's now been 3 years and my business has grown exponentially. I have a team, so it's not just me anymore. We help tons of businesses grow in the online space, and we're continuing to increase our offerings. Initially, we just focused on organic growth, meaning we help your page grow organically without paid ads, but we just added paid ads to our advertising or to our offerings. We also do consulting, as Kieran mentioned. I'm going to go over what exactly my services are at the end, but I do just want to mention that anyone that attends a food venture event does get 25% off of their first month of services, but I'll go more into that at the end. So we already did this, but if you haven't, go ahead and introduce yourself. And if you have social media handles, you can put those in the chat as well, and I will follow everybody. So as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about how to write content that sells. These are kind of 4 major things you want to be thinking about whenever you're writing content. So the first thing is you want to make sure you're connecting with the right people. You want to put your efforts towards the correct audience. You don't want to be spending hours creating videos and writing captions that are not going to be connecting with your ideal customer. So you need to know your audience so that you can curate content specifically for them. The next thing is you want to be able to sell without feeling salesy. If all you post about on your page is selling your product or your business, no one will follow you because it's basically just like following a catalog, and no one has interest in following that on a social media page. You also are going to go over how to kind of structure a perfect post. A lot of this is geared towards social media posts, but it can also be translated over to newsletters or blogs or really any kind of copy where a sale is the goal. There's multiple aspects to a successful piece of copy and content, and we'll break that down so you know exactly what to write. Another thing to know is that some pieces of copy or content are for the long game and some are for the short game. So something saying this is on sale right now today is going to be short game. You're trying to sell something right now. But ultimately, you want your page or your content to be building relationships, trust, expertise, so that over a long period of time, people get to know you, have brand recognition, and then ultimately they buy from you. And creating those long-term relationships through your social media platforms is how you're going to create long-term customers. So exactly what we're going to be going over is knowing your audience, writing compelling headlines and hooks, highlighting benefits, not features, using visuals creatively, creating scarcity or urgency, telling stories, using social proof, incorporating CTAs or call to actions, solving problems, using persuasive language, educational content, engaging in conversations, and A/B testing. Also, I am just gonna talk and then I'll have time at the end for questions and stuff, so save them and then I'll open it up for everybody to ask whatever they have. So let's just dive in with this first talking point, which is knowing your audience. So you need to understand your target audience's needs, preferences, and pain points so that you can tailor your content to address all of these things. So the first thing you want to do is decide who your ideal customer is. Write down all of the traits of them. What is their job? Where do they live? What are their hobbies? What is their ethnicity? What is their sexual orientation? These things might not feel important, but really knowing your customer or your ideal customer down to a personal level is going to help you imagine that every time you write a piece of content. Then once you've created this ideal customer portfolio or profile, you want to start looking up posts or newsletters or blogs that you think that person would watch. So you can use hashtags or other popular accounts or locations to kind of see what kind of content is being made for that audience. So let's say you live in Toronto and you're looking for people in their 30s that love eating at fancy restaurants. You can kind of look up things like hashtag Toronto foodies and kind of things in that realm to help you find some inspiration for content to create. You then want to figure out what the pain points are for your audience. Is it a lack of Indian food in your neighborhood? Is it a lack of organic food? Is there not very many farms where you are? Like, what's a pain point that's relevant to your business that you can fix? And then every single time you write anything, you want to imagine this person and this audience and say, is this going to connect with them? Are they going to like this, save this, share this? Is this something that they are going to benefit from and find value in? The next thing is, after we kind of established this audience and we're ready to start writing some content, you always want to start with a compelling headline or a hook. So you want to know what's going to stop someone from scrolling. Nowadays, people have a very short attention span. So you want to make sure the very first line in your post makes people stop scrolling and read more. So just some examples are, here are 5 things I would never do, or you need to hear this, or if you love blank, read more, or calling all foodies, or craving blank food, limited time offer, you don't want to miss this, want to impress your friends and family, celebrate the season, you've never tried something like this, we can't wait to share this with you, have you ever wondered about blank, this is our absolute favorite. All of these things, either in the very first image on a graphic, first frame in a video, or first line of a caption or blog, you want it to be something that they feel inclined to keep reading and want to know more about. Next, we have using visuals creatively. So social media is more of a visual platform than it is a writing platform. It is quite hard to get people to read a super long caption or to head to your link to read a whole blog. So you want to find a way to use your graphics, photos, and videos to include some of that really well-written copy. So the first thing is, you want to make sure that all of your photos and videos are high quality. A high quality photo translates to a high quality product. You want all of your graphics or videos or anything to be on brand and cohesive, because that starts to establish brand recognition, where someone sees that logo or those colors and they associate it with you and your company. You want to use video to showcase your product or service in action. Video is the new thing, and if you want to be successful on social media platforms, you have to utilize video. And it does not have to be you talking to the camera. It can be behind the scenes footage of you using your product or service, or some behind the scenes footage with text over it, which is the next one. Use video to show behind the scenes. People love watching other people making their product or cooking in a restaurant, or time lapses of you preparing for the day. Any of those things really perform well. You want to always use really beautiful imagery to attract viewers. If you have a really nice image, they're going to be more inclined to stop and then maybe more inclined to read. You want to show people's faces, either your team or your customers. You want people connect with other people. People like to see people smiling, eating, drinking, cheersing. All of those things are always the most successful. And when you are using graphics or infographics, you want to make sure that they're really pretty and well done. And this is a way for people to get all of your information in a visually pleasing way, instead of just reading a lengthy caption or blog post. Another thing that is really helpful is creating scarcity and urgency. So people will buy if they think there's a limited supply. You want to use things like limited offer, flash sales, or exclusive deals to get people to click and feel motivated to go buy something. Scarcity and time-sensitive promotions really motivate people to take an action. And if people think your product's in demand, they feel more urgency. Just this morning, I was listening to a podcast about the psychology behind this pumpkin spice craze during the fall. And a huge aspect of that is just the limited time of it and the scarcity of it. People feel like, oh my gosh, it's starting to feel cold outside. I only have a few months where I can get these flavors, so I better have as much of it as possible. So creating that scarcity and urgency is always going to help people transition from thinking about buying your product to going and buying the product. Next, you always want to try to tell stories. Again, if you're just posting, we sell honey and it's the best honey and it's 50% off, go to our website, that's just not that interesting. So some ways that you can tell stories through your content is sharing stories of success from your customers who have benefited from your product or service, telling the story of how your business came to be, You really want people to connect with you as an individual and not just as a business. There might be 100 people that are caterers in your area. So why is someone going to hire you? So talking about your business's story, your personal story, any of those things help people connect with you and not just your business, which is the last point. I skipped over this one. Share a hardship you or your team has overcome through your expertise. So using a difficult time or difficult experience or difficult customer, any of those things is a great way to showcase your skill set and your expertise on how you kind of worked through that. Next is using social proof. Like I mentioned in the previous one, there could be 100 people in your area doing the exact same thing as you. So what makes you the best at what you do? So sharing testimonials where you can, after someone buys a product from you, you can send an email or something saying, we would love a testimonial, which just shares their experience. Reviews are similar, but on like Google or Facebook or Yelp, asking customers to write online reviews so that you can then share them on your page. Competitor comparisons. How are you different from your competitors, and what makes someone want to buy from you instead of them? I don't recommend bashing a competitor by name ever. We always want to support all small businesses, but you can say, our honey is 100% organic versus other honeys that are not. That's a bad example, but you know what I mean? Just having competitor be a general term instead of naming people by name. And then another great way to get social proof and a nice piece of content is called UGC, which is user generated content. So typically you will send someone a product or let them come eat in your business for free. Sometimes this is a paid exchange, and then they film themselves in a video sharing their real experiences and also showing how their product is being used. This is a great alternative to working with influencers. For starters, this is content you share on your own page, and it's often much more affordable. Influencers can range from anywhere to $800 to $30,000 a post. My agency does UGC, and we charge $80 a video. So it's just a way more affordable option to get some other faces on your page giving reviews. And some people will do it just for free product. Next is CTAs, which stands for call to actions. So you want to tell your customers exactly what to do. If you just have a long post about all of the information you want to share, super educational, super high value, and then it just ends, you just lost them. So you want to tell them what you want them to do. Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to share? Do you want them to save? Do you want them to go to a link? Do you want them to subscribe to your newsletter? Just tell them what you want to do, and they're more inclined to take that step because it is less of a thought process. It's like, oh, they just asked me a question, so I'm going to respond. So here's some just examples of CTAs for each of these motivations. So if you want someone to comment, you can ask questions like, what is your favorite blank? Have you tried this before? What questions do you have? Or bringing people into the conversation. What flavors would you like to see? What flavor did we have in the past that you'd like us to bring back? Things like that, where people can feel like they're part of the creation process. Another one is sharing. Getting your content shared, whether it's a blog or a social media post, is going to just increase your viewership exponentially. So you can say things like, send this to a friend who would love it, or share this with your favorite foodie. And then because you said share, they're thinking about share, and then they click share. Another one is save. So save this for later, save this for inspiration later, save for next time you need dinner ideas. If it's an educational piece of content, if it's a recipe, if it's something funny, any of those things can be saved for either the follower themselves to look at later or for them to show to someone else later. And then last is click through, which just means like if you're on Instagram, for example, if they go to the link in your bio. So head to the link in the bio to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter for more like this, or send us an email if you have any questions. Any of those things are considered a click through. Make a reservation, place an order, all at a link. And one more thing about CTAs, you can either do them at the beginning or the end of a post. And when we get into A/B testing later, you want to kind of mess around and play with the best place to keep those CTAs. So next, you want to solve problems. We talked about this when we were identifying our audience. You want to find out what their problem is. And then you need to position your product or service as a solution to the common problem that makes their lives easier or better. So the first step is identifying it. Before you can offer a solution, you need to know what the problem is. So what problem does your business solve? And it can be as simple as there aren't enough people that make cupcakes day of in my area. Then you want to analyze the cause. Once you've identified the problem, dig deeper to understand why that's a problem. Is it because there's not enough home bakers? Is it because there's not enough demand for cupcakes? What is the reason that this is a problem? Then you want to research and find other successful accounts or competitors in your niche to see what they're doing to solve this problem or answer the question, and then try to find a different way to do it for yourself, which is brainstorming. You want to spend time coming up with content that directly addresses this problem. You want to have videos and blogs and things that are answering people's problem. Sorry, I just realized my power strip is not on and my computer is going to die. Okay. Then you want to ask for feedback. Ask your customers directly, what's the problem, or what is a problem that I can solve? You can post polls, you can ask in a newsletter, you can ask, just simply have a post that says, how can I solve this problem for you? And have an open dialogue with your following so that you can really know exactly how to help them. And then you always want to adjust accordingly. So you want to use data to let you know if your content is connecting. The analytics on the social media platforms can feel pretty overwhelming, but just look at post by post. How many likes did this one get? How many views did this one get? And see if they're doing well. If things are not performing well, then maybe you're not addressing the right problem or you're not addressing the problem correctly. It's not a bad thing. You're not doing anything wrong. Social media is constantly testing and trying new things, but it's always nice to check in with that data to make sure you're kind of on the right track. Using persuasive language. So you want to utilize persuasive language that resonates emotionally with your audience. You want to use words that evoke feelings of desire, comfort, success, or happiness. You know, there's color theory that people think certain colors trigger certain buying patterns. It's the same way with language. There just are certain words that motivate people to buy. These are examples, but there are tons, and it's an easily Googleable thing. But some examples are discover, instantly, unbelievable, powerful, free, new, sensational, exceptional, exclusive, limited time, revolutionary, effortless, guaranteed, results, proven, exclusive, I already had, expert, unique, boost, premium, win, breakthrough. All of these things are positive. They are showing that it's a unique, cool, trendy, up and coming product. It creates excitement and hype. And using words like this creates something in someone's psychology that makes them more inclined to press buy. Writing educational content. If you've taken my class in the full cohort through Food Venture, I talk a lot about content pillars. So when I work with clients, all of the content is going to fit into one of 4 pillars. And those are inspiration, education, promotion, and entertainment. When it comes to selling, promotion, and education are going to be the most important. Promotion is fairly self-explanatory when you have a sale or anything you want to post about it. But the educational content is equally as important because that's what's going to build a loyal customer base and following. So you want to be an expert in your field. Social media is a search engine nowadays. People look up everything. I just started painting and I've been watching tutorials on TikTok. And that is because I searched painting for beginners on TikTok. I did not go to Google. I just went straight to a social media platform. So you want to be the expert in your field so that when someone is searching that, you're going to come up. And then you can use your content to show your vast knowledge and expertise in your field. I assume you started these businesses because you're super passionate and knowledgeable about what you do. So share that knowledge with people. You want your posts and your content to always have value. So at least 25% of your content on your social media platforms should be teaching your audience something, and they will follow you for this information. So if you are a caterer, you can show your recipe for one of your favorite appetizers. Most likely, people aren't going to make that recipe, but they might save it for later thinking they will. But then when they view that video later, they're going to be like, God, that really does look good. I'm going to hire that caterer for my event because I'm not going to make it, but I do want it. And by teaching them something, they are going to press follow, they're going to save, and then your content's going to keep coming up on their page. So when they are ready to make a purchase, you're who comes to mind. Posting educational content also helps you establish trust with your audience. They believe that you are a genuine, real, talented, informed small business. A lot of people, drop ship or have other people make their product for them or buy in bulk. So really showing what you know and your expertise, establish trust that you are real and small and that we should support you. And through using educational content, it's going to help you attract the right people and the right audience. So when you're posting all of this educational content, the people that follow you are people that are genuinely interested in your expertise and your business and what you're teaching them and what you're selling. Engaging in conversations. With all of my clients, we spend 10 to 15 minutes every day per client just engaging with their audience. It's really important. It lets people know that there's a real person behind this. It lets people feel involved. It lets them feel connected. And it's just incredibly, it's like a huge part of being successful online. So the first thing is you always want to respond quickly. You want to answer comments and messages as quickly as you can. Like I said, recommend just spending 10-ish minutes a day going through making sure you've responded to everybody. Not bots or spam, but real people. Ask questions, like we said in how to get people to comment. You want to ask questions in your captions or blogs or newsletters and allow your customers to respond. Then they really feel part of the creation process. Posting polls allows you to get feedback in real time and is the same as asking questions, really lets your customers feel involved in the creation process of everything. And then incentivizing feedback. You can offer free or discounted products in exchange for honest reviews or videos or pictures. When we get to examples later, I will show you an example of that. But you can say things like, post a picture on your Instagram this month of eating a cupcake and you get a $15 gift card or $5 gift card or whatever it is. And that includes people in the conversation. A/B testing. So A/B testing is really important with any social media platform. It basically means continuously exploring and experimenting with different types of content, different color schemes, whatever it is, you name it. So you can change every little thing about every single post and test which does the best. If you're doing a paid ad, like the person we have that does paid ads for us will post 2 posts that are exactly the same, but with different background colors or with different fonts, like change tiny little things and track which one is connecting with our audiences the best. So here are some different things that you can test out and see which one is working the best for your audience. Headlines. Keeping track of which of those scroll stopping headlines increases your engagement or sales. Is every time you say you have a limited time offer increasing your sales by 2%? Then maybe you should say stuff like that more often. Obviously, with scarcity deals, if you do it all the time, it loses its value, but just an example. The types of content. So there's video, there's carousels, there's graphics, there's photos, there's blurbs. Which one of those is working best for you? Keep track of which type of content performs the best and do more of that. There is a place for every single type of those posts, but if you're finding that your videos are really increasing your following, you're getting tons of views and you're even getting sales out of it, then you probably want to start posting more videos. The visuals. Do graphics or photos perform better? Do graphics with a lot of text perform well? Do graphics with funny pictures do well? Do graphics that are pink perform well? Do graphics that have huge font do well? Do pictures with people perform well? All of these things are stuff that you can take note of and track and really pay attention to when you're adjusting your content. CTAs, your call to actions. Are there certain ones that always work? When you ask people questions, do they always comment? When you ask people to give you ideas, do they always respond? Just keep track of which ones really work the best. Hashtags and keywords. We didn't talk about this a ton, but I will real quickly. You want every single piece of content you have to be full of keywords. And keywords are a word or collection of words that are relevant to your business that make you searchable. So if I am a brewery in Colorado, I want to have Colorado beer, Colorado brewery, craft beer, local beer, Colorado IPA, Colorado wheat beer, all of these things intertwined within my content so that when people search any of those collections of words, Colorado brewery, I'm more inclined to show up high in a search because I'm using those words. Hashtags are similar. They just are, someone can click on hashtag Colorado brewery and see every single post that has been used with that hashtag. So a hashtag is more of a searching tool. So I always recommend people have a bank of about 100 hashtags and 100 keywords, and you just cycle through them in your posts. You only need like 3 to 7 hashtags per post, and keywords, you want to use as many as possible, but you always want to make sure it still sounds natural. So you don't want to post to say, we're a Colorado brewery making Colorado beer in Colorado, and it's craft beer made in Colorado in a brewery and it's local beer. That sounds crazy. So you want to look in your bank of keywords and handpick a few and find a way to integrate them into your content so that it still sounds human. And then you want to track which hashtags or keywords are really working the best. Do you notice that every single time you mention an IPA, your post does really well? So maybe that's something to keep in mind. Lastly is the captions. Do short captions perform better than long captions? Do informative captions perform better than silly captions? It's just kind of interesting to pay attention to those things and see which ones are doing the best and take note of it. Again, there is a space for short, long, informative, and silly. You should do all of those things, but keep track of which does the best and maybe just do more of that. So now I'm going to show some examples. These are all just Instagram posts. Some of the writing is like in the script of the person talking to the camera, and some is text on the screen. I think all of these posts are really good examples of creative ways to use all of the tips that we just went over. None of these are just straight captions. They're all kind of more creative ways to write this content that sells. So this first one is a food truck page, and it is simply just a quote from Anthony Bourdain, who is a highly respected and highly popular person talking about why food trucks are so amazing. So he says, why should you be excited about food trucks? Because they allow creative chefs without a lot of money to start creating and selling their stuff, introducing themselves to the world without having to gather up $1 million or credulous partners. And they're affordable, they're democratic, and they are faster, better, and infinitely preferable to fast food like the King and the Clown and the Colonel. So this quote coming from a food truck page makes me want to go get food from a food truck because it's a super talented chef offering me more affordable food options. So this, they didn't technically write this content, but this is a great way to use some writing in a social media post to incentivize buying. This is a video. So this video is a really great example because it is kind of silly, but it's also informative. It's showing you how to hold a wine glass, and then they give you a little piece of education at the end. Skin, oils, or aromas from other food remains can alter your perception of the wine. But if you notice at the bottom here, it says view shop. So they are selling those wine glasses. And while you're watching this, you're probably like, wow, those are really pretty wine glasses. And I want to hold my wine glass like a sophisticated sommelier, and I want that glass to do it. So they're using education and a little bit of comedy and a video with text to sell their wine glasses. This next one is super simple, just says craving a waffle, order now. But this is an example of a CTA in a post, a call to action. So this is not really a clickable button because it's an Instagram post, but they're showing you what the button looks like on their website so that when you go to their website and you see that, you have this brand recognition and this acknowledgement that you've seen that before. And there's kind of almost a subconscious action to go order it. I think the next one is another video, so here we go. Yes, but it doesn't have sound. This is a carousel, I just filmed it. So 3 reasons to use honey for sore throats. It has antibacterial compounds to fight off infections. It is natural with no harsh or artificial ingredients. And it never expires, unlike over-the-counter cough syrup. So this is a graphic, it's a carousel that is teaching you an alternative way to use their product. So you probably buy honey anyway, but now you have a sore throat, so you're going to go out and buy more honey because now you know that it's great for sore throats. So that's using that education aspect to incentivize you to buy. This is an example of the incentivizing feedback and engaging in conversations with your following. So it is National Waffle Day. They want you to take a selfie and get free waffles. So on this particular date, so there's a little bit of scarcity and urgency. If you take a selfie of you and your favorite waffle, you post it and you tag it, then you get a chance to win $100 in free waffles. So doing things like this, one, you get all of those selfies of everybody that you can repost on your page. 2, all of those people that are posting on their page and tagging, that means all of their followers are now seeing that tag and your product and probably going to your page. And then they're incentivizing this by making it a giveaway. So one person that posts a selfie gets $100 in free waffles, which is a pretty low cost for the amount of advertising that they're getting from this promotion. The next one is going to be a video with sound, I believe. Yeah.
Hey, Claire, we can't hear, or at least I can't hear. Mm.
I saw there wasn't sound on that, so sorry, but there were captions, so hopefully you kind of got the gist. So this is a longer form educational and promotional video. It's a collaboration with another brand with a similar ethos to them. It teaches us about PFAS and how they're toxic and not good to have in our home, bad for our bodies. And then it also tells you a ton about their products. It shows you a wide range of their products and why they're superior to other competitors. So this is a really creative way to take, maybe a written piece about PFAS that you have and turn it into a digestible piece of content. And again, my thing is not charging. Sorry. Technical difficulties all day today. There we go. Okay. This brand is a great brand to just follow. They're called Our Place. They do a really good job of using social media to promote their brand. I've only ever heard of them through social media. I bought their pan as an ad off of Instagram, and I now have bought it for every member of my family. The next one I don't think has captions, so let's try to see if I can get the sound to work. If not, we will just skip it and move on. Um,
I think there, if
yeah,
you stop sharing and then reshare, before you reshare, you should get like a notification that says share computer sound or something like that. I don't know if that would help.
let's see. Share sound, there it is. Okay. Hopefully this works.
Chef, founder of Chai Pani, Botiwala, and Spicewala. But I'm the most excited to talk about the
Is it working?
Everdeer Hub. So let's just jump in. Mount this up, hit the igniter, now we wait. One of the most popular dishes at Botiwala is our lamb tikka roll. That's what we're going to do today. A tandoori marinade is basically yogurt and tandoori masala. There's a bazillion tandoori masalas in the market. This is the way I like it. And then there's a few other things. A little ginger, a little garlic. The very idea of a marinade is the idea that we're adding flavor to whatever it is that we're marinating. The tougher the meat, the more it'll benefit from a marinade. I cut these into longer, thinner strips that we're going to thread on, and it's going to cook faster and sear quickly on both sides, and you'll get a nice char on the outside and still somewhat of a medium on the inside. Being able to lift this up, move some coals around, get them organized, I mean, it's just brilliant. So add a little bit of oil so that doesn't stick to the grill initially. We're going to lay this against the grain. Don't slide them up against each other because we want the meat to cook all around. Time to do the flip. Look how easily it came off the grill. All right, I'm going to show you guys how to make a light, bright, easy slaw. Throw a little bit of slaw in the bowl, some salt, freshly ground pepper, some sugar, rice wine vinegar, and a squeeze of lime. Massage. What you want is a crunchy slaw that's well seasoned, a little bit sweet, a little bit of acid. Get yourself a nice flat piece of bread. You can bring them to life a little bit by just throwing them on the grill for a second, and you just want to make sure they're nice, soft, and pliable. Start with some of the slaw that we made. Let's slide off kebabs. I'm gonna add julienned onions, fresh cilantro, roll it up, and boom. That is a perfect snack. Grill, guys, grill. Just enjoy these little moments of life. I mean, this is what it's about. I am Marijuana.
So it feels like you're watching a cooking show, but he is in fact promoting the grill, his restaurant, and his spices. And because all that food looks so good, you're feeling inclined to go check out his website, follow him for more recipes, comment and or share this with a friend, save it for later, engage in that conversation. How this is writing content is because this was a planned kind of scripted recipe video. So this is another really creative way to use all of the tips that we went over. So that is that for my little tips and tricks, and I hope it was super valuable. I want to leave us some extra time for questions, or if anyone had any comments or anything that they can either unmute or pop in the chat, and we'll spend a couple minutes on that. I'll go over my services and then we will be done.
Great. Thank you so much, Claire. I agree. I see some notes in the chat here that was really information packed, as always. Thank you so much. And if anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat or feel free to unmute. And if no one's jumping on that, maybe Claire, you can chat about the services that you offer.
Yeah, and if questions pop up, I will answer them. So all of our packages are customizable based off of your needs, but I just kind of wanted to show the 3 basic types of things that we do. So the first one is consulting. If you're running your own page or outsourcing is kind of out of your budget at this moment, consulting is a really great option. I will analyze all of your data and come up with some strategy before a call. We meet monthly for 2 hours where we will come up with a strategy, brainstorm post ideas, go through your analytics, and just get into the nitty and gritty. And then I will send you a step-by-step action plan after. I typically do consulting with people for about 3 to 6 months. My goal is that you don't need me anymore after a period of time. And then I check in with you quarterly after that. The next level is where we will create all of your content, but you have to then manage your own pages. So we will create your graphics, edit your videos, write your captions, your hashtags, everything, and put it in a calendar for you. But that engaging in those conversations and talking to everyone and scheduling and posting is all going to still be part of your responsibilities. And then the final is kind of if you just want to hand everything over to us. So you send us kind of photo and video, we will edit everything, we will make graphics, we will schedule all of your posts, we will talk to all of your customers, we will answer all of your messages, we'll post on your stories, everything that you need kind of all in one. We also do blog writing, newsletters, video editing, follower cleanup, and ads, like all is kind of add-on things. And again, everything is super customizable based off what kind of you and your business needs. Here is all of my information, my email, my website, and my Instagram and Facebook. If you have other questions you want to ask afterwards, feel free to shoot me a message. Follow me on social media. I'll follow you back. And I think that's all she wrote.
Great. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
don't see any questions in the chat. So I guess if you all kind of come up with questions as you go throughout your whole social media journey, you can always email Claire. Or if you want to know more about Food Venture Program, you can also email us. I'm just putting our email in the chat right there. Awesome. Well, that is it. Thank you all for joining. It's nice to see some of our alumni come back. And if you're new to us as well, you're absolutely welcome to go through our programs online and check out our on-demand courses. There's a link for our website. Thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording here.
Thank you.